Input. People exceptionally talented in the input theme have a craving to know more. Often they like to collect and archive all kinds of information. You collect things, right? It could be information, it could be words, facts, books, whatever it may be. It could be things, baseball cards, photographs, little porcelain figurines, pennies, whatever it is. You're a collector because it interests you. You like to find things that you can catalog and that you can put aside and that you can recall or bring out when you need to, right? So you might travel a lot. When you travel, you're one of those sightseer people. You're not the one who's going to sit around and do nothing. You're going to go and you're going to go to museums. You're going to go shopping just to see the things you can possibly collect and store away. You love to also share. And this is where the input strength can be really good or really bad, right? If you remember the show Cheers, Cliff Clavin, he always would come up with these hey, little known fact, what he would say. And he would come up with these random things that really not very good times, right? When you're in your bottom or your basement of this strength, you just kind of fire hose people with information, unnecessarily sharing information. And that's not kind of how it should look. Maybe you might overwhelm people. You give too much, right? And you're also easily distracted by all the great information you can find. As you grow in this strength, you become more intentional. You are more deliberate. You have to use it. See, if you people with input, if they don't use it properly, become like a sponge, a saturated sponge. And after a little bit of time, that sponge will no longer soak up water. Your brain will no longer be able to hold that information. You've got to be able to apply it and use it and share it. But the problem is how do you share it, right? Do you do it just because and just kind of randomly spout out information to people when the opportunity arises? That just makes people annoyed at you, right? People don't want a know-it-all. People don't want someone who's going to always offer useless information. You've got to be a resource. It's got to be important. It's got to be something that actually it affects or impacts the conversation or the relationship positively, right? So you need to understand how the other people think and what's important to them. So this is when you sort of ask them, hey, I have information I'd like to share with you. If you're one of those people who just shares without asking permission, the other people in your life are not going to be happy with that. They're going to be like, why does this person, why they know-it-all? I didn't ask for this. And that's going to be abrasive. It's going to be uncomfortable when you start, when you're with people. So a couple questions to ask yourself is, how do you when you're with people, right? How much information do you need right now? What do you need? Because that's going to allow the other person to share what they're willing to take in, what they want or need. So you're not just kind of overwhelming them, right? For you to improve yourself, be mindful on what you're collecting. If you collect everything, nothing's important to you. Start to narrow down what is important. A couple strengths that work really well with this, if you have them, is your intellection, right? Intellection is super powerful because intellection is a strength that kind of is all about organizing yourself. What I kind of equate this to is imagine a desktop on your computer with all the files open and folders, and it's just full of documents, information. Intellection gives you a chance to help kind of meditate or reflect upon the information you have. And if you have a Ranger too, what's most important? Clean it up a little bit, put things away. You're most effective when you have recall quickly and effectively. Okay. So don't give people too much information. Don't overload them. Ask them what they need when they need it, and then use that information you've stored away so carefully. You've worked so hard to collect this information and you just want to share it with people, but you have to make sure you do it in a mindful way and in a way that's going to kind of promote more conversation, promote growth in your relationship. And I think that's the best way to proceed if you have input.